Hello, Pharma Forum. Are you fired up? Awesome. How could you not be fired up at the end of an amazing conference like this one? Very nice to see so many of you stay through to the very end. I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited about some of the content that I have for you today. I want to start, it's been a bit of a theme here. I want to start with why. I am a single mom of 3 crazy, amazing, high school age boys. I'm also a business owner. I've had my business for 20 years now. I'm a speaker and an author. So I could stop there, and most normal people would probably say something to me like, wow, I bet you're really busy. But I'm in the meeting industry, so I don't stop there. I'm also president of MPI Westfield, and I have peeps with me today, and the executive director for my local chamber of commerce because I like to give back. I've noticed the last couple of days in having some amazing conversations with you that I'm not alone in the wearing of the gold boots and the cape. I think I am in like-minded company here that we tend to take on a lot. When you're super energized and super talented, you take on a lot. And I will tell you that firsthand, it can sometimes impact you health-wise, and it's really hard to keep all those balls up in the air successfully. So my goal for you today is to provide you with some strategies that you can use to keep filling, like a matchbook of sorts, so that you can take out one of the strategies at any time and light it up and help to light that inner flame that will ultimately be a beacon to everyone around you, make you happier, more peaceful, and be able to navigate your roles more successfully. Are you good with that? Awesome. I like that. Okay, so I also recognize that even though we have this common bond, there are some different personalities in here. So some of you may resonate with my energy in the morning. I also recognize that there are some of you out there who are like, oh my God, please make her stop. And I'm okay with that. But for those of you who are like that, I have this slide just for you, because you probably require a little more proof as to why you should listen to me. You can check out the testimonials on the website, but right now I want to talk about bottom line. What I discuss has to do with relationships. And the tools that I'm going to share with you today will help you to interact more effectively with your clients, improve the dynamic within the workplace, and even help at home. But it all begins with the relationship that you have with you. That will be my focus, to connect and fully understand who you are, your uniqueness, how to use them to serve the world and be happier. So, because there's this focus on relationships, and many people call what I say fluffy, I want to quantify it for you. So would you say that within an average week, you waste 3 hours of time on things like miscommunications, ineffective meetings, having to repeat yourself, or maybe redo something that somebody else was supposed to have already done? Do you think that 3 hours is conservative that you may waste in a week? Yes, is that accurate? Can we go with that number? Okay. So let's say that 3 hours times, we'll give a nice round number of $100 an hour. Let's say you're working for 6 months on a project, that's 26 weeks, that's $7,800 of wasted money because of miscommunications and not having the best optimal relationships. Now, when you have a miscommunication, does that impact just one person? No, it impacts a whole lot of people, so that amount goes up. So what we talk about here today will not only make you leave here all fired up and energized, but hopefully more effective in your interactions with other people. Now, You may have seen on the screen when James was up here introducing me, one of the adjectives that he picked out had to do with adventure. I am one of the very few keynote speakers who comes with their own disclaimer. But I'm in the pharma industry right now, so you guys get it. Now, it's fine print, so I'm going to read it to you. Some of the stories and examples you will hear today involve high-risk adventures. The adventures that precipitated the stories were dangerous. Heather, Hansen, ONeill, Find Your Fire LLC, and any associated companies are not in any way recommending that you partake in said adventures. You are responsible for your actions and decisions. Should you choose to take the lessons and strategies provided in today's keynote, the extreme benefit of increased productivity, reduced stress, and joy are potential risks. In agreeing to listen to this program, you consent to these risks should they occur. Attendees take full responsibility for their choices and their happiness today and in perpetuity. Are we good? Can I go on? Excellent. I was 150 feet in the air, clinging to the side of a mountain. I was tired. I was hungry, and I was crabby. I had been climbing with gentlemen who were 6 feet and over. And as you may have guessed, I'm not. So I looked around and I realized that I had no handholds that I could reach. I had a gentleman below me who was the belayer. He was holding the ropes, and he kept calling up, "You're doing great!" And there was a guide above me who kept calling down, "You can do this, you can do this." And I yell up, "I can't, I have no handholds." And he says, "Yes, you do. There's one 1.5 feet past your left hand. Jump." Did I mention that I'm 150 feet in the air? So I yell up some things that I'm not allowed to say right now, as well as, "I can't." And he says, "I got you. You can do this." So I did. And I got it for about 3 seconds. My fingers slipped and I came crashing into the mountain once, twice, 3 times, till the ropes pulled me up. The guide had saved my life. But now I was 148 feet in the air, and in addition to being tired and hungry and crabby, I was bruised and a little bit bloody. But I realized that I had fallen into a better place. Here, the handholds were closer together, and I was able to make it to the top of the mountain. Why do I start with that story? Because rock climbing taught me 2 very valuable lessons. The first one is, make sure to surround yourself with people who say, "You can do this, you got this, and I got you." Who you spend time with has everything to do with the quality of your life, and you get to choose. Choose wisely. And the second lesson is, when you fall, and you will, make sure to look around for the handholds, for the lessons, because it will help you get to where you want to go that much faster and better. I needed the table a little bit closer, but it's okay, because I'm an adventurer. I can adventure over to the table at any time. And I want to share with you my map for building planner relationships. MAP is an acronym for mindset, adaptability, and plan of action. So we're going to begin with, of course, the absolute most important one, and that is mindset. It's time. It's time to grab a partner. Yes, I know. You don't want to. That's why I had to warm you up a little bit. Now, for some of you, you understand fully that coming to a conference is not just about the content, it's about the relationships that you build. So if at all humanly possible, pick a partner who you don't already know very well. My posse is sort of forgiven because they said they were going to sit together, but I think you can still do it if you go behind you. Pick a partner. You are going to spend 1 minute, 30 seconds each, sharing with your partner your name, your company, and one goal that you want to accomplish by the end of 2018. Are my instructions clear? Do you guys understand? We're in a highly scientific field here, so it's time for the Heather Hansen ONeill Highly Scientific Assessment. You're going to raise your hand and put up the number of fingers for the amount of energy your partner had in describing their goal. Now, this is highly scientific, so you have to hear the parameters. 1 means we need coffee stat. My partner is about to fall asleep. Then there's 2, 3, 4, 5 is my partner is on fire. They are going to achieve every goal they have ever set out for themselves. Okay, it's time. Raise your hand. Put up the fingers for the amount of energy that your partner had. Awesome. Great. I love human nature. I love human nature. Every time I have ever done this exercise, this happens, and then they see their partner looking at them. Every single time. It's fantastic. I'm going to explain to you in just one moment why I had you do that, but first I want to share with you one more story. This one's about my father. My father used to work a lot, and when he wasn't working, he and I would go hiking. And I remember very vividly, I was 11, almost 12 years old, and we had stopped to skip stones in the creek. My father turned to me and he said, "Heather, you can do or be anything you want. I hope you choose something that makes you happy." Now, fathers probably say things like this to their daughters all the time, right? So why would that make such an impact on me, who I am, and what I do? Probably would help to understand my dad a little bit more. You see, he hated what he did for a living. And every day, he would come home with pain and stress etched on his face and evident in his body. Now imagine seeing someone that you love every day in pain and stress. Then imagine that same person turning to you and saying, "You have other options. You get to choose." It's guided me in every decision I've made. It's why I started dancing professionally at 13. It's why I started my business. It's why today I get the great pleasure to jump out of bed in the morning and spend time with amazing people like you, hoping that at least one of you will walk out of this room changed in some capacity, learning a different strategy, a different mindset, a different way of doing things to make your lives easier and better. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about what I do, and that's why I tell this story and do this exercise. Now, before we get to the point, I love this, we're going to do it one more time, but a little bit differently. You're going to go back to your partner. And now, instead of sharing what your goal is, I want you to think about something that you're really passionate about. It might be work. It might be your family. It might be a hobby that you have. It could be something that speaks to your heart and how you contribute to the world. I don't care what it is, but you're going to spend 1 minute sharing it with your partner now. It's time for the Heather Hansen ONeill Highly Scientific Assessment. Please raise your hand and put up the number of fingers for the amount of energy your partner had this time. Awesome. Now use those 5 fingers and give your partner a high five. Fabulous. This is so important. Who here saw Rolf on the first day? Right? It really helps, doesn't it, to reconnect to why what you do impacts other people. It's very, very important. I don't know, some of you may have been able to see Laura Cook's presentation yesterday. She had some great strategies. If you didn't, if you had to go off to something else, check out her presentation because she had some things that you can take away to help you increase that passion or find a career that you are passionate about. That passion is very important to take with you every day, and sometimes on days where things are stressful, you have to remind yourself. Okay? So, now speaking of passion, All right, so I do a lot of work in the meeting industry, and I'm starting to do a lot more in the pharma industry, but I still, every time I do a presentation, I do my research. I go and I call people that are doing it every single day, and I say, what are your challenges? What do you like best about it? What do you wish was different? And one of the questions that I had this time, because I knew I was going to be talking about passion, was, why are you passionate about this industry? And I had some amazing answers, but I have two reasons for choosing to share this one with you today. One of the reasons the person here knows, and one she doesn't, so there's a chance she's going to be mad at me right now, but I'm going to take that chance. So the first reason is because Moselle Goodwin, could you raise your hand, please, so everyone can fully embrace the embarrassment that you're feeling right now? Thank you. Moselle Goodwin impacted my life in a way that she probably doesn't realize. See, she was president when I came onto the board of MPI 7 years ago, and she was really someone who demonstrated, didn't just say it, but demonstrated how to make choices that may be difficult but that are right. So as a president, and to this day, you know, helping all that she does for MPI, when she says something, it's because it's the right thing. It's the best thing for the membership, not because it's the popular thing to say. And that really impacted me greatly, and I hope that I do some of that as the current president of MPI Westfield now, but it is not easy, and I'm finding out it is not easy to always do that. So I'm going to put a challenge out to you right now. I would like for you to think about one person right now who has impacted you in that capacity, who has taught you something about your industry or about work ethic or character or something that has made you different, a mentor, a teacher, someone in your industry, someone outside of your industry that you admire. Choose someone right now and make a commitment to yourself to go home and send them a thank you note. Or, I'm okay, if you have their cell phone number, you can text them thank you right now, because nothing is going to light that inner flame better than gratitude. So that's the one reason. The second reason is she's very passionate about the pharmaceutical industry. So due to the medical meeting planners ensuring all guidelines were adhered to, when a patient is diagnosed, it's our hope that the physician will prescribe a medication that is best for that patient based on their symptoms, and not because the pharma company gave them tickets to a Broadway show after the meeting. And while my learning has shifted a bit as I try my best to stay current on industry trends, I feel this is my way of contributing to patient care. You impact patient care with what you do. So can we give Moselle and all of you a quick hand, please? Thank you. Don't kill me, darling. Okay, so you each have on your seats, thank you, Melanie, you're amazing. The entire team here, haven't they been incredible? You don't even notice, probably, all that they're doing to make this conference incredible, so thank you guys. But you have paper on the chairs here, and I'm gonna ask you to do one thing before we move on to adaptability. So you don't have to have the whole sheet, just maybe rip it in half, and what I want you to do So I want you to take a moment to think of something that may hold you back. Because we talk about making sure that you have got great relationships, making sure that you're passionate, making sure that you're doing the right things. Those are things that we want to embrace, that we want to keep. But now we're going to talk about something that we want to let go of. And when I do coaching, I get told the most incredible things that people believe to be real. But it isn't. It's something maybe they were told growing up, something they experienced once but doesn't necessarily have to define them and their future. Things like, typically their fears, judgments of self and others, limiting beliefs, assumptions. We all do it. We all have them. Have you ever made a mistake and said, God, I'm such an idiot. How could I have done that? You are not an idiot. You made a mistake. I am a huge fan of making mistakes. It's the only way that you're going to get better at something. we have to watch the words that we say to ourselves. People come to me and they say, sales are so hard. Is that accurate, or is it a perception? Planning is incredibly stressful. That one might be true. No. But these are things that people tell me that could limit them. I don't have enough education. I don't have enough experience. I have too much experience. I'm too short. I'm too tall. I'm too thin. I'm too fat. I'm not enough. And if someone in your life told you that you weren't enough, they were hugely inaccurate, basing it upon their own fears and judgments. Because each and every one of you are more than enough right here, right now, without doing a single other thing. So we want to let go of some of those things. And I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to share one with you that I have had to let go of now 4 times. Maybe a slow learner, I don't know. I just have to keep at it. I know I'm going to get it one of these days, and it's going to stick. It's not enough hours in the day. And then I think, is that true? Or do we all have the same amount of hours in a day? And some people are incredibly successful, and other people are hugely stressed out. Same amount of hours. Is it the amount of hours, or is it where I choose to prioritize my time? So let's be accurate with that. If you have something, I have to be perfect. No one's going to like me, so I should not speak up here. Whatever it may be, whatever may have been holding you back in the past, I want you to write it down for me right now, please. Got that up? Thank you, guys. Now, I'm going to save you, because if you sat there looking at your blank sheet of paper going, it's okay, it will come to you. I'm going to save how we're going to use this for another couple of minutes, so you can think about it and write it down when it comes to you. So, M was mindset, A is adaptability. I spoke to so many people here today who would say to me things like, oh yeah, I just changed my position, and actually I changed industries, and oh yeah, I'm also moving next week. And then they follow it up with, thank goodness I like change. I think that a lot of the people in this ever-changing industry of pharma do tend to embrace change a little bit easier than others. But you have a conflict here. For those of you who are planners, you need 2 somewhat contradictory skills, right? So you need to be able to be organized, detailed, cross the T's, dot the I's, make sure that things happen the way they should, follow up, all of that. You have to be analytical, but yet you have to be able to sell your vision, and you have to be able to communicate with people and interact and make sure you understand them. These things sometimes don't reside in the same person easily. So maybe you're a little bit better over here and you've had to learn this, or maybe you're a little bit naturally better over here and you've had to learn this. But what you do isn't easy, and I recognize that. So it has to do, I think of change in a change spectrum. Everyone lies somewhere on the change spectrum. All the way over here is someone like me. I love change. I incorporate change into my life on purpose. I jump out of airplanes. I swim with sharks. I eat fire. You don't have to do any of that. But you know, I'm both a speaker and an author. I like things to be different. I like variety. But yet, when life throws me a curveball, I still feel a little resistance until I can figure out what to do with it. And then you go down to the other end of the spectrum of change, and you will find my 15-year-old son, who could be sitting down doing homework, which he hates, and I'll come over and I'll say, honey, put aside the homework. I'm going to take you for ice cream, which is his favorite food. And his response will be, what? Mom, you always do this to me. Oh. Because there are people who are hugely resistant to change, no matter how positive the change may be. You may know someone like this, you may be someone like this, I don't know, but we need to understand that wherever we reside on the spectrum of change is okay. It's okay to feel that initial resistance. It's how much time you spend there that causes the problem. So think about it for yourself as well as your clients, as well as your team members, as well as your children. Figure out where they are on the spectrum of change. And if you are dealing with someone who tends to reside down here, allow for the resistance, chunk it down for them, and help them envision why it will be important to them to make the change. This was me 6, 7 years ago. So I told you that I joined MPI Westfield, and about 45 seconds after I joined, I found myself on the board of directors. About a minute and a half after that, I was VP of Education. I don't know how that happened, but that's how I felt. So I could have said, no, 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 I'm a speaker, I'm a supplier, I'm not a planner. I could have done that. But I'm a fan, as you know, of becoming uncomfortable, so I said yes. And it was one of the best things that I could have done. I learned a tremendous amount. And I will tell you that I believe everyone should play the role of the person who hires you at some point in your career. I learned what planners want. I became much more responsive. I always respond to emails within 24 hours. I like to give more. So when poor Melody, she's probably like, who is this crazy speaker? So because I'm like, do you want me to write a blog for you? Or would you like me to create a little promotional video to help you sell it? She's like, all right, that's cool, right? Because those are some of the things I learned in playing the role of the person who hires me. I think everybody should do it. So quick call out here to being uncomfortable. I highly recommend it. So you don't have to be crazy like me. You don't have to go hang gliding. But I encourage you to do something that is uncomfortable for you every single day. It's like building a muscle. If you want to be able to say yes to things in your future that are uncomfortable, you have to practice today being okay with being uncomfortable. So that's adaptability. And now on to P for plan of action. Mike Mahoney on the first day made a challenge to you guys. And he said, pick 3 things that, it could be ideas, innovations, 3 things that you pick up on here today from the breakouts, the keynotes, from anyone that you meet in the exhibit hall, and take action on them when you leave. I'm going to narrow it down even further for our purposes here today. Choose one right now that you can think of, something that you learned here that you choose to implement. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've been here with you, and I believe in learning and development, and so I am a sponge. I'm in the audience almost as much as I am on stage because I believe that in order to be the best at what we do, we have to continually learn and grow. So I come out there and I'm taking my 62 pages of notes, but if I took those 62 pages of notes along with my bag of good intentions back to my office, what would happen? Nothing. Life happens. Somebody has something more important that you have to do. So choose one. So think right now, what is the one thing that you want to do when you go back home? And I just want you to think of these 3 questions when you do it. You can use this with any decision-making process and interactions, challenges that come up. It's very easy. You think about first, what is your direction? Where do you want to go? And be very specific with it. That's the address that you put into your GPS. Right? So what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Get very specific about what it is that you want to accomplish. It may have several steps. And then you look at your commitment. This is your why. You can achieve any what if you have a strong enough why. So attach a why to it. Why will doing this action help you be a better planner? How will it help you as a supplier to gain more respect, more trust? How will this action impact your family? Get emotional about it, because when we attach an emotion to your why, that we attach to your what do you want, you are 100 times more likely to get it. And then you go to solution-focused how. How are you going to do this? You see, every day, bad things happen. Challenges come up. People irritate you. Walls are built to keep you from getting to what you want. Every day those things happen, and every day amazing, beautiful things happen. Interactions, a smile exchange, meeting someone extraordinary, being told that you did a great job. Amazing things happen every day, and the quality of your life is determined by where you focus. We clutch fiercely to things that are outside of our control. The weather, the economy, regulation, other people's opinions. And we allow them to infect us and alter our state. They make us feel bad. But then when it comes to what we actually control, our thoughts, our emotions, our response to those challenges, we allow those things to slip through our fingers. So right now, I want you to take back your power, take back control of what you actually control. And choose to look at solutions instead of problems, to ask better questions. Who might have the answer? Where can I find this? What new idea might help this? Ask better questions, and you'll be able to get to where you want to go faster. I know people are writing these slides, you'll get them. So, you're lucky. If you were a smaller leadership or a peak performing sales team, you might be flying on the trapeze right now if you were working with me. But with keynotes, I don't do that. You just get to hear a little bit more about the story of it. Has anyone here ever flown on the trapeze? Yes, we have a couple of crazies. I love it. You're my peeps. So when I first flew on the trapeze, I was somewhat anxious, especially when climbing the rickety ladder. Can't they attach those better? I mean, so I'm climbing up the ladder, and I get to the top, and I peek over, and I see my instructor. She's got long, dark, curly hair and a mischievous glint in her eyes. And she says, step up onto the platform and hold on to the pole. So I did. And then she said, let go with your right hand, step over to the edge of the platform, and reach out for the trapeze bar. So I did. And then she said, now let go with your left hand, reach out for the trapeze bar, and jump. She may have thought that I was hard of hearing, so she repeated herself. Let go of the pole, reach out for the bar, and jump. No. I was petrified. I couldn't move. And that's when she leaned in and whispered in my ear, honey, sometimes you have to let go in order to fly. So I did. I've flown many times since that time because, man, it is fun. Oh, but this is not about the trapeze. This is about her words and the lesson that I got from that. Sometimes you have to let go in order to fly. And so we're going to do that right now. Do you want to play with me a little bit? Yes? Okay. So I'm going to give some instructions first. And recognize that you have the choice of what you do. So Melanie is getting some mic runners for us now. Gentlemen, if you'd like to turn the lights up just a little bit, not super bright. Thank you. What we're going to do is, if you are comfortable, you can share what you wrote on your piece of paper. And I'm going to include it. Now, let me tell you what I did with a small It's about 25 people. I did a sales retreat for a large hotel chain, and it was one of their regions, and so we did a sales retreat, and I did this exercise with them. And I'm going to explain what it is, and then you're going to have the opportunity to share. So I said to them, I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. You know, we've been spending a couple of hours talking about sales strategies and some things that you need to let go of so that you can pick up that phone and you can go out and you can meet people and you can make some more sales. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to come up to the front. You're going to read off your limiting belief, and then you're going to set it on fire. Yeah, that's how they looked at me, too. Yeah, they were like, oh, my gosh, she's crazy. But as I was explaining the instructions, there was a woman who was sitting kind of over here during it, and she had gotten really pale and was sweating a lot. So I walked over to her, and I said, are you okay? And she said to me, when I was younger, I was in a fire. And ever since then, I've been afraid. But not just of fire, of everything. And I said, don't worry. You don't have to do it. You can do whatever you want. But do you mind just waiting until you see what everyone else is doing before you decide? And she said, okay. So they did it. They went around the room, and everybody came up, and they read off their limiting belief, and they lit it on fire. They let it go. They walked away with big smiles. They were feeling great until we got over on this side. There was a gentleman, arms crossed, who just said no. And I said, okay. And then we continued on for the rest of the people. And after everyone else except for the gentleman had gone and this woman, I came back to her and I said, what would you like to do? You have probably 3 choices. You saw that it's okay not to do it. No one's going to judge you for that. Or you could come up and read it, and I can light it on fire for you. Or you can do it. What would you like to do? And she said, now she's sweating even more. She's like pale as a ghost, and she's like, I'm going to do it. And she came up, and her poor little paper, I don't know how she saw what she had on there, but she read it off. She lit it on fire, and she let it go. And then she proceeded to cry and simultaneously laugh, which was oddly disconcerting. But everybody in the room ran up to her. They hugged her. They high-fived her. They're like, you're incredible. And later on, she said, I have never felt so free in all my life. There are things that we hold on to, things that were given to us, things that were said to us that keep us from being everything that we were meant to be. We need to let those go. So we're going to do it right now, but don't worry, you're not lighting stuff on fire because Melanie will kill me. So what we're going to do is, typically, I throw fireballs into the audience when someone volunteers something. Okay, I know you guys have been out drinking a couple of nights. I mean the candy, not the bottles. But still, when I did a program recently with a group of insurance folks, they said that my aim was cause for concern and that maybe I shouldn't throw things anymore or get a larger liability policy. So I'm not going to do that anymore. So what I will do is if you raise your hand and a runner comes around and you read off what's on your card and I add it to this, I will give you something at the end. Yes, there'll be a fireball and probably an autographed book. I like to give things away. The same thing applies if any of you want to connect with me afterward, you need anything, a resource, anything at all, reach out to me. I'm on the app. I'm all like Heather Hansen, ONeill, I'm everywhere. If you need me for anything, door's always open. So we've got our runners. Who wants to be the brazen first one? Anybody? Yes, we have a winner. woohoo!
Good morning.
Good morning.
There are already so many people who already do that.
Oh, yes, that's a good one. Thank you. Good. Anyone else raise your hand, please? I have room for 4, 5.
Hello. I tell myself that I'm not good at financial budgeting and it leads to problems.
That's a good one.
I don't know everything about everything.
You don't? Me either, man. Good. Couple more?
I will literally pass out if I have to stand up in front of a big crowd and say something.
Woo! Yes! Good. One more. You rock.
There's not enough time in the day.
Good. Oh, good. I get to relive that one again. Moselle, you can go.
Well, you all know who I am, evidently. I'm a planner, but I don't plan my non-work life as well as I plan my work life.
Ah, good. Apparently, you're not alone. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. To the amazing staff here who have been so incredible this entire time, I'm going to apologize right now for what I'm about to do to you. But I'm going to ask us all to do this together, where I'm going to read these off, and you're going to take yours. And together, when I light this up, quickly before they catch on, you're going to rip yours up, and we're all going to let go of it together. Are you good? Yes? Okay. Okay, all together. I have too much to do. I am not good at budgeting. I don't know everything. I will pass out if I have to stand up and speak, and I just don't plan my home life well enough, and it's not enough time in the day. Let it go, baby. Okay, so I am going to leave you with this. You get to choose. I am so sorry, Mary. I am really, really, really sorry. I love you. I'm sorry. All right, so guys, let me leave you with this because I have 51 seconds left before they yank me off the stage. So I'm going to leave you with this. You get to choose. You get to choose who you spend time with. You get to choose to reignite your fire. You get to choose what you think, how you feel, how you respond to situations. You get to choose where to focus. You get to choose the quality of your life. Thank you.